Good morning, everybody. Uneducated Economist here. So, some pretty interesting news came out with the within the cryptocurrency space, and I tried making this video a couple of times, and I just kind of ramble on as I start to talk about it. But there's some interesting things that are going on, and it's so broad, and there's so much happening. And it's not just like the central bank digital currencies. Like the Bahamas just announced that they're going full use now with their central bank digital currency. I guess it's been in testing program for the last year or so. They're now in full use. China is expanding their testing programs. They're going to go into full use here at some point. I'd imagine sooner than later. The IMF, the Federal Reserve, everybody's talking about cryptocurrencies and central bank digital currencies. And PayPal came out with an interesting announcement yesterday saying that their account holders are going to be able to trade in cryptocurrencies as well. Bitcoin, Litecoin, Bitcoin Cash, Ether. Now, there is some other like apps out there that are already able to buy and sell like cryptocurrencies. Like I use Cash App to buy Russell 1000 index and Bitcoin. I bought $100 of each just to do it for fun. Just like, hey, it's the capabilities there, so I just like to play with it. So I tried it out and bought $100 of each of these things just to test the system out. Pretty easy, slick, nothing to it. Uh, but this PayPal one, when I opened up my app to look at my PayPal account, I saw like they had a tab up there talking about the cryptocurrencies, right? It was like a little, like, hey, check this out. So I clicked on that, and it was like a little brochure, and they had like 5 pages to it or something. And so I'm reading through the pages, and they're talking about cryptocurrency, pretty simple stuff, just kind of introduction to what they're going to be doing. But one of the pages, and I wish I had screenshotted it or taken a screenshot of it, because I cannot go back and find that page again. And it was something interesting on there. It was talking about the Lightning Network. And if you've never heard of the Lightning Network, this is a very big deal. This is the reason why I like Charlie Lee and I like Litecoin, is because of the Lightning Network. And I knew that Charlie Lee was working with this Lightning Network. So I have not been investigating or researching cryptocurrencies for some time. I've been following more of like the Federal Reserve and monetary policy and things that are going on there. It seemed more geared to what the channel was looking at. But this Lightning Network is very interesting because this is what's going to give Bitcoin the availability to do those minute transactions at lightning speed. Okay, see, now the problem right now with Bitcoin is that Bitcoin is, although it's a, in my opinion, a great currency that is secure and able to do transactions around the world and all that other great stuff, it has a downside to it. It is slow and it is expensive to do small transactions with. Okay, so this makes it a deterrent for using it as a common everyday currency. But the Lightning Network, it works as a secondary layer to cryptocurrencies. And now it's hard enough to already wrap your head around cryptocurrencies. If you're brand new to it, it's like just trying to understand what Bitcoin is like, it's intense, right? But then to try and understand a secondary layer that goes on top of it is even more complicated. But that's ultimately what it is. Lightning Network is a secondary layer to the Bitcoin network. And so instead of transacting on Bitcoin network, right, on the Bitcoin blockchain, which is slow and cumbersome and expensive, you can transact on the Lightning Network, where it's very fast and cheap and easy. And all those transactions can be loaded up as a single transaction onto the blockchain of Bitcoin or Litecoin or whatever one that you happen to be using at the time. So it's a way that you can use your blockchain in a much faster transaction speed. Does that make sense? So it's just like a secondary layer to the blockchain. And the neat thing about it is that if you want to be like, using your Bitcoin, right? You want to spend your Bitcoin, but the person that you want to spend your Bitcoin with doesn't want Bitcoin. They want Litecoin. They can do what they call an atomic swap, where they can just switch it right over as the transaction takes place. So it's going to make this world of cryptocurrency and the speed and then the intermingling very easy. Very easy. I guess a good way to kind of look at it, is to kind of imagine like each cryptocurrency as being its own city, and the Lightning Network is going to be like the subway system that connects them, but it's super fast and there's tons of them, tons of connections. I don't know how else to explain it, but I hope that's like the explanation for Mom, and I hope you get it. But that's what's taken place, and when I saw that, I thought, man, that is why. That is why I like Charlie Lee. That is why I like Litecoin. Is because I know that those guys were involved in this, and now that I see that it's on PayPal and PayPal's going to be using it, it just makes me more of a believer inside of Bitcoin and Litecoin, and I'm so glad that I got into that space a long time ago. And I think there's plenty of room to move. The neat thing about these cryptocurrencies is that, especially when it comes to some that have a set amount, like Bitcoin or Litecoin, there's only going to be so many of these things. They can only produce so much. And so, holding on to even just one Bitcoin is going to make it unique. You're going to make, more than anything else out there, because there's no way of making any more of them. And even though you have all these other cryptocurrencies out there, there's only going to be a couple of them that are truly going to be the gold standard. And when you have something as secure as Bitcoin is, it's going to be hard to beat it. It's going to be hard to beat Bitcoin. And that's what gives it, see, like a lot of people like look at it and say, well, it's slow and cumbersome, can't use it. But now we got Lightning Network. So yes, we can use Bitcoin. We can use Bitcoin for whatever we want. And yes, it is the gold standard because of the sheer size of the network. See, like they know how to hack Bitcoin. They know how to hack cryptocurrencies. If you can do a 51% attack on these computers, then you can ultimately take over the ledger and make the ledger whatever you want. Okay? But trying to take over Bitcoin is so vast, so big, so it would cost so much and be so, it's just not feasible. I mean, it's feasible. You can do it, but it's just not going to happen. It's just not going to happen. And so Bitcoin will run forever in my mind. I know a lot of people are talking about the computing power and all that other stuff. Yeah, so, whatever. We don't. Bitcoin will continue to run, and we can operate with Lightning Network. That's what's going to happen. And PayPal is just proving that right now. So anyway, anybody who happens to screenshot that page on their PayPal app or wherever they can find that, I would love to see what the text was again, because I cannot remember what it was and I cannot find it. And so if you happen to get that, could you please email it to uneducatedeconomist@gmail.com? All right, Uneducated Economist, you guys let me know.